Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Vlogmas Day 4. I'm Erin if you guys are new here. Today we're gonna mix it up and do something a little bit different. We're gonna do a Q&A. I put an anonymous question box in my Instagram story yesterday and you guys asked some questions. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off with the question I got asked the most, will I ever compete? At the beginning of this year, I had a few months where I was very heavily considering competing. I was looking into coaches and pretty much ready to pull the trigger, but I ended up deciding not to do it and deciding to never compete. There's a few reasons for that. One, I love my relationship with food and I love my relationship with the gym right now, and I don't want to do anything to jeopardize that. And I feel as though putting myself onto a very strict prep where I'm focusing on macros and calories and training so significantly, I don't think that I would come out of that prep with the same relationship to food and training that I have now, and I just don't want to throw that away. I don't want to risk that. That's the biggest reason. The other reason is I would be very nervous to see what my mental status would be like coming out of prep and doing the reverse and seeing myself gain weight, because that's never really been a struggle for me. But I feel that seeing myself stage lean and then seeing myself gain weight within a week or two, I think that would really mess with me mentally. So I just feel like it would be an unhealthy decision for me to compete. And as of now, I just love training. And there's just a lot of things that go into competing, which I have a ton of respect for people that compete. I just want to throw that out there. It's just something that I've decided is not healthy for me and something that I'll never do. Next question, did you have to have any body surgeries after losing so much weight? So the only surgery I had a breast augmentation and mastopexy, which is a breast lift, last August. And I did that because of the weight loss. I had very saggy boobs and a lot of extra skin there. Other than that, I've had no procedures done. I did get my lips filled and then I had it dissolved last year, and I do get Botox, but other than that, that's it. Next question, how did you and Brian meet and what's the story of how you guys started dating? I was on a trip in LA visiting my friend Val back in February, and I was supposed to leave on Sunday, February 13th, but she got a text from the gym owner inviting us to a Valentine's Day party, and Val was like, you should switch your flight and come to the Valentine's Day party and have like a little Galentine's Day, whatever. I was like, I don't really know, but there was like a wine bar, they had joints, it was gonna be like a DJ, it was gonna be a fun night, so I was like, all right, I'll go. Ended up going to the Valentine's Day party, Brian was the DJ, had to do an entire workout, so walked in, totally noticed Brian when I walked in, then completed my entire workout, grabbed some wine, and then like went into the gym to mingle a little bit, and he walked up to me and he was like, do you compete in figure? And I was like, no, but damn, great way to start a conversation. So we talked like the rest of the night. I followed him on Instagram. He did not follow me back. He ended up telling me that he looked at my Instagram that night. He just didn't follow me back. But then he messaged me the next day. I flew home. We DM'd for a little bit. He asked my phone number. And then that day I asked to FaceTime, and I was like, oh shit. We FaceTimed every single night for like 2.5 weeks. Then he invited me out to LA. I booked my trip to LA, and he texted me, oh my God, I'm not gonna be in LA when you're coming. I'm going to the Arnold. And I was like, bro, like, one, how does that even happen? But also, I texted the CEO, bucked up, and I was like, hey, can I go to the Arnold? So they sent me to the Arnold. We ended up staying together while we were there, had a great time. I flew back to LA with him from the Arnold and stayed with him for a week, then went to Cabo with Val because my flight was out of LA anyways, so it worked out. Then flew back from Cabo and stayed with Brian for like 10 more days. So essentially, I was with Brian for 3 weeks after I met him at the Arnold. That's kind of confusing, but yeah. Met him at a Valentine's Day party, FaceTime for a couple weeks, spent the Arnold with him, spent 3 weeks with him, flew back home, he came to visit Utah, asked me to be his girlfriend, and the rest is pretty much history. Took a trip out to Denver in May and decided to move here. So more to come on that, but that's the story of how we started dating. So please ignore my voice. I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit of a cold, and sitting here talking for like a long time is not helpful. So please disregard how deep my voice is right now. Next question, how did you start working with dream companies? Pretty much all the companies I've been with for years. Bucked Up is the first company that I started working with. I started working with them when I had about 2,000 followers on Instagram. I had been using the pre-workout because I was getting it from GNC. And then once I started my Instagram, I was like, I wonder if I could find a supplement company to work with. So I went to their website and had a sponsorship application. So I filled it out, got accepted. Signed with them as an ambassador back then. The rest has pretty much been history. Last year, I became their first sponsored athlete. I did live out there for a year. I lived very close to headquarters. So I worked closely with the CEOs. I have my own pre-workout flavor with them. I have my own t-shirts with them. It's probably my biggest, like, closest brand relationship, just because it's like pretty much a family to me at this point. I don't even really see that as like a brand deal. It's more like a huge part of my life. Hydro Drug I've also been with since the beginning. They actually reached out to me on Instagram after I hit 10,000 followers. They DM'd me and they were like, hey, we want to do this thing called Workout Wednesday where I essentially lead a workout on Wednesday on their page. So we did like a little collab. They sent me Hydro Drug and I did that, and then I became an athlete for them back then. And then the other company I've been with long term is Buff Bunny. In May or June of 2020, they started sending me their collection boxes, and I really like the products, and I really like what the brand stands for. The inclusivity, the size ranges, quality of the pieces, the collection themes, Heidi in general. I just love Buff Bunny. Did have a requirement to have 100,000 followers on Instagram, so once I hit that, then they reached out and wanted to work with me on an athlete basis. So I've been with them for a year and a half. I feel like some people approach brand deals and partnerships a little bit differently, but for me, I approach them by finding the brand that I support and see value in. And then once I find that, then I try to reach out and work with them. I'm pretty picky. I don't work with a lot of companies, and I don't like to do just like one-off deals because I feel like that's very confusing and misleading to the people that follow me. I'd rather find companies and brands that I really support and stick with them long-term so I can show you guys what they're about, if that makes sense. Next question. Can you talk about moving to Denver with Brian but not living together? No judgment, just love insight on relationships and why people choose to live or not live together. I actually really like this question. I feel like a lot of people assume that Brian and I lived together when we moved out here. We want to move in together next year. We just wanted a little bit of time to get ourselves settled. It's such a big change for both of us. Brian was single for 3 years before we met, and I was single for a year before we met. So we would have gone from being long distance to like living together, and we also both work from home. I just don't really see the need to do that when you don't need to live together. So we just decided to move here and take the year to settle into our own places. I also wanted to live more in like a downtown area, and he wanted to live more in the suburbs because he was coming from LA and like hated the downtown people vibes. He just like wanted more quiet space, and I was coming from Utah and I wanted the opposite. So we were just like, all right, I'll live more downtown where I want to go, and you can live in the suburbs where you want to go, and we kind of get the best of both worlds. So we end up staying with each other like 4 or 5 nights a week anyways, but it's very nice to have our own space, and we're both very independent and like to do our own thing. Our leases are up in July, same day, so we're gonna start looking in like May or June for a house and try to figure out exactly where we want to go. By August of next year, we will be living together, but just wanted to take the year to get settled on our own. Next question. How do you incorporate cannabis into your day? If you guys have followed me for any amount of time, you guys probably know that I smoke weed. I'm a pretty big advocate for it. I think it's very helpful as long as you don't abuse it. I've definitely gone through stages myself of abusing it and using it way more than I should have, especially during quarantine, 2020, some of those months where there wasn't a lot to do. The way that I handle it now, I actually moved to doing this a few months ago, and it's been very productive for me. I smoke after 8 p.m. So I smoke every day. It helps me sleep, it helps me relax at the end of the day and quiet my mind. I have very bad ADHD. My mind runs literally 24/7 all the time. And I just like to have a little bit of a release at night where I can just like chill out and not think about things. So I moved to 8 p.m. It's like my cutoff. It has been working awesome for me. I am able to have like a full long productive day and then like find a show or read a book and just like hang out, relax, smoke a little bit of weed. If I'm at home, I usually smoke my bong. If I'm at Brian's house, I usually hit my pen because it's easier. I'm not a huge fan of edibles. There's this one brand called Taste Buds that I do like, but other than that, I don't really like the body high feeling. I like the head high feeling where it's like a quiet mind. But yeah, so that's kind of how I handle it. I used to smoke before the gym, and I do like the mind muscle connection from it. I am so focused. However, my lifts take like 3 to 4 hours because I move so slow. So I stopped doing that just because I can't be at the gym for 3 hours every single day. So we don't do that anymore, but those are my thoughts. Next question. What are your recommendations, tips, or ideas for dealing with very high gym anxiety, almost crippling, but you really want to start working out? I have a few things if you're new to a gym that will help you be more comfortable or go in and get a lift on if you are uncomfortable. First thing, have a good playlist, have music that you enjoy listening to, put in headphones, tune out the world, just listen to the music that you enjoy. Number 2, go in with a plan for your training. Please do not go into the gym if you're uncomfortable and just think that you're gonna figure it out when you get there. I have a feeling that you're gonna get pretty overwhelmed and just not the best idea. I highly recommend walking into the gym with a plan, the workout, exactly what you wanna do. Then if you start feeling a little bit of anxiety or being uncomfortable, you can just look back at your list and start moving on to the next thing. The other thing that helps is finding an outfit that's cute. It gets you excited, and I feel like it's just one of those things that makes it more of an enjoyable experience. I don't know, I feel like if you create a little pre-gym routine, getting your pre-workout, a flavor that you love, listening to some music on the way to the gym, getting a cute outfit on, getting to the gym, having your workout written out, having a plan, getting your good music in your ears. I just feel like if you treat it as a positive experience, it'll be more exciting, and the more often you go, the more comfortable you'll be. So I think there's kind of two folds to that. One, pushing yourself to go more frequently so you are more comfortable there, and two, getting into that routine and making it more of an enjoyable, fun experience so you're excited to go. The other thing on that note, I can guarantee you that everybody at the gym is more worried about what they're doing and what they look like. They're not paying attention to you, they're not judging you. They're just as concerned about what they're doing as you are that they're concerned about what you're doing, if that makes sense. Next question, how many cc's are your breast implants? I have 345cc gummy bear implants, and I went under the muscle. I got them done last August, and I'm a 34D process. My directions to the doctor were that I wanted them to look very natural. So I got a moderate profile, just had a lot of extra skin, a lot of sag, and I did not feel feminine at all. So I pulled the trigger, got them done, and yeah, that's the details on it. Next question, what's your favorite thing about living in Denver so far? Honestly, I'd have to say how much there is to do. I feel like anytime I'm thinking of an idea of something I want to do, or if Brian and I are trying to figure out something to do, once we come up with that idea, I can go to Google Maps, search it, and find so many different options. A million coffee shops, there's a million restaurants, there's a million art exhibits, activities, farmers markets, food festivals, beer festivals, concerts, comedy shows. There's literally everything here. And also the area that I live in is so walkable. Like there's hundreds of restaurants within a mile to me. So in the summer we were scootering everywhere. Like we didn't drive anywhere for months. We were just taking our little Lime scooters and going everywhere. It was so great. I love the walkability of where I live, and I love how much there is to do here. I have moved around a lot. You guys know I've moved out of state every single year for the past 3 years, and for the first time I do not want to leave. I'm staying in Denver for a very long time. I love it here. I probably will move into the suburbs, I think, when Brian and I live together, just because I definitely like a little bit more privacy. I like the walkability of where I live now, and I'm enjoying it. I'm also looking forward to having more privacy, having a yard, a fenced-in yard. I had that in Utah and I definitely miss it. But yeah, I absolutely love Denver and I never want to leave. Next question, do you want to have kids someday? Yes, absolutely. I'm actually very excited to be a mom. I don't want to have kids for about 5 years, obviously God willing, but I definitely have a lot of things that I want to do before I enter that chapter of my life. Brian and I have a lot of places that we want to travel to. I feel like once you have kids, your life is not yours anymore. And like I said, I'm super excited for that aspect of my life. I cannot wait to be a mom. I was a nanny for almost 3 years and I loved it. It's so fulfilling. I love children and I can't wait. So yes. But in a perfect world, if I could decide when I could have kids, I would say when I'm 29 or 30 and been married for about 2 to 3 years. Next question, do you and Brian hope to get married, start a family together someday? So kind of on the traction with the last question, yes, this is something we talk about a lot. I am the kind of person I'm dating to marry. I haven't had that many boyfriends. Before I met Brian, I was just single, doing my own thing, traveling, hanging out with friends, not really pouring energy into that side of my life. I just was doing my own thing. And then after meeting Brian, I was like, wow, this just makes so much sense. The more we talk about our future, the more it lines up. We want the same things, we have the same timeline. So super excited for all the things to come, but really just enjoying the chapter that we're at right now. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a funny question because I feel like you're dating somebody and that's not your intention, then why you're dating them. Next question. Do you think moving helped you in a positive way? I've been debating taking the plunge by the end of 2023. My heart belongs in Colorado. So I moved from Michigan to Colorado in June of 2020. I had never been to Colorado before. I just packed up all my stuff, signed a lease over the phone, and moved here. Best decision I've ever made, hands down. It was absolutely terrifying, but it did so much for my self-confidence and just like overall belief that I can do whatever I need to do. It's so rewarding to move to a place you've never been to, you don't know anybody, in the middle of like quarantine, COVID. It was a very, very, very weird time. And it was honestly one of the craziest things I've ever done, but I stand by it. It was the best thing I've ever done. I really feel that something everyone needs to do in their lifetime is move away from their hometown. Even if you go back, I just feel like you need to experience something different from what you grew up with. It's definitely a culture shock, and doing it on your own is hard. I had the first 4 months were super lonely. I had many mental breakdowns. I was like, is this the right decision? Did I do the right thing? I don't know. And it took me forcing myself into creating a new routine and creating a new normal for myself that then I started falling in love with the process. And then like 6 months in, I was like, bro, this was the best thing I've ever done. Like, I am so happy. I love it here so much. Then I did it again. I moved to Utah by myself. That was crazy. And then moved back to Denver. That time was with Brian, so it was a little bit easier. But yeah, moving was amazing. It was super hard, but I highly recommend if anybody's considering. I feel like so many people say, oh yeah, I want to move so bad, or People think about it and they talk about it for years and they never go because they're scared. Just do it. Just fucking do it. Like, save up the money, find the place, pull the trigger, and go. And if you regret it, move back or move somewhere else. Like, it's not permanent. But why stay somewhere if you want to go somewhere else? I've never understood that. Next question. Best sports bra for big breasts that works for you. So, best sports bras for big boobs. I'm a 34D. I don't have like crazy big boobs, but I definitely need support. Buff Bunny sports bras are the most supportive sports bras ever. A lot of them are long line, so they offer full coverage too. And they come in extra small to extra large, so very size inclusive. I do have a code, it's ETKFIT for 10% off. The Geo sports bra, the Rosa sports bra, the Monarch sports bra, and the Revolution sports bra. My 4 favorite styles from there, and they're all super supportive. Next question. When wearing leggings, what underwear is best? So this has taken me a lot of trial and error, but I have found the underwear that works for me. The one thing, you do have to pull them like over your hip bones so that you can't see them in the seams of the legging, but they're from Victoria's Secret. They're the seamless thongs. I'll link them in the description. They just work. There's no camel toe, they're not uncomfortable, they don't move, they're the best. That's what I wear, which like I said, I will link in the description. Next question, what does your spine tattoo say? My spine tattoo in 2020, I think right before COVID. It says, be afraid and do it anyway. It's in Irish. Next question. What is the most attractive thing about Brian, non-physical? Definitely his work ethic. He is one of the most motivated, determined, ambitious people that I know, and it's so inspiring. He prioritizes his work. He works very hard, and the products and stuff that he comes up with is really cool. He's helped me with my editing so much. I've adapted essentially his entire editing setup, from learning how to use Final Cut to his monitor, upgrading my laptop, using his hard drives. Like, he just has helped me so much, and he's so knowledgeable, and if there's something that he doesn't understand, he'll find out. Like, he won't stop at just like not understanding something. If something comes up, he's like, I gotta learn, I gotta figure it out. He just is so motivated and so ambitious, and I think that's so hot. All right, that's all the questions I'm gonna do for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have more questions, or if you guys want me to do another one of these, I can totally do it, or maybe a longer one down the line. Well, other than that, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check back tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 5. Okay, bye.